Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, Sampler V, Series V's I've been doing for a little while now. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about the stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. Earlier in the day, I did some reviews, and I mentioned that I was going to go out for a gyro. I wasn't lying, but we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today, folks? What happens to be my Dragon Ball shirt, which I've highlighted this shirt a number of times in reviews. I love this shirt, man. I actually got this from Walmart several months back. It was hard to come by. Like, I saw the display for it. It was there, but I'd never run into it. And it took me a few months before I was actually able to finally find it. I only had one left, and it was in my size. So I was like, yay. But if you're unfamiliar with Dragon Ball, it is where the whole Dragon Ball franchise came from. Before Z, before Super, before any of that stuff, Dragon Ball. And as much as, like, I grew up with Dragon Ball Z, still like Dragon Ball Z. I even like GT to a point. They had some interesting ideas. Super, I can't get into. I don't. To me, it's just way too much fan service. But when I finally got around to watching Dragon Ball, I was surprised at how much I liked it. Like, despite it not having the abundance of elements that, like, made Z as popular as it did, I ended up really liking it even more. So, I really like Dragon Ball. Again, still like Z and stuff like that, but Dragon Ball. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Gyro, eh? So, yeah, earlier in the day, I did some reviews. I mentioned that, yeah, man, I really wanted a gyro, And so when I woke up after my after-work nap, I was like, well, where am I going to get a gyro from? I've had plenty of gyros, and I've reviewed a couple places, that have had gyros. But I was like, I want to try someplace new. So it turns out there's a place not too far from where I live. It's a little bit of a drive. But I immediately was like, all right, I guess we'll go with this because, well, folks, it happens to be, boom, it's a place called Taste Greek Street Food, which I'm not going to lie is an awkward name. I'm not saying, good on you, do what you do, but, like, if I was telling somebody to go here, it would sound awkward. But ultimately, it's about the food. So what did I get? Well, the first thing I got, boom, is, of course, gyro. This is their classic Chicago gyro, which is just gyro, tomato, onion, and tzatziki sauce. Yes, man. Okay, I love a gyro. Oh, and by the way, what would this place has two locations, but they seem to be located in Illinois. That, for me, makes it a local spot, which means that this playlist is going to end up on my Eating Out Illinois playlist, which is a playlist of just local spots. So let's take a look at this. They're very proud of their branding, too. Oh, wait. Nope, this is the other one. I got two gyros. Yes. So, it's a big-ass gyro. And they proudly proclaim that it's so good you'll think you're in Greece. I've never been to Greece, so they already have me at a disadvantage. I don't know, but... And it even comes with fries because I got the combo, so... Okay. I mean, that's not a bad... Let's get a thing for the thing. It's ridiculous. It's like that. I am going to go over there and take off the fries, though, because, I just want to experience the gyro-ness of it all. But I appreciate that because it's going along that Chicago style of kind of like, when you get hot dogs. A lot of times they'll just put fries in with the dog. That is a lot of gyro meat, man. Okay. Let's just try some of the... Only thing with gyro, man, until you get some of the meat down, it takes a little doing. Let's give it a go. Oh. Not gonna lie, that tzatziki sauce, it's different. I don't think I've had a tzatziki sauce that tastes quite like that. It's got kind of an extra tanginess to it. Okay. Alright. I'm enjoying this. I didn't expect I wouldn't, but, you know. Okay. Try just some of the meat by itself. Meat's good. I will say, the tzatziki sauce hits different. Like I said, that's doing something for me that I've never had tzatziki sauce do. The meat, still nice, still flavorful. It's not the best gyro meat I've ever had before. In fact, I would say there's a place that I reviewed a few months back, something like that, but it's on the playlist, called Gyro Express. I would say I think that their gyro meat slightly edges out this one. That's, again, not to say that this is bad gyro meat. It's good gyro meat. But I would just say I think it had a more defined flavor to it. This is good, but it's a little bit more kind of, I don't mean to be mean when I say this, but like a little bit more standard gyro kind of flavor, you know. But it's still good. It's nice, it's spiced, it's meaty. It's good. I'm definitely enjoying the hell out of this, man. Like, even though, again, you know, I am kind of like, well, you know, it's like, no, man, trust me, this is a good-ass gyro. I'm just trying to be honest, you know, being as detailed as I can be with it. I don't even mind the tomatoes and the onions. Usually when it comes to a gyro, I just ditch those immediately. I just want the gyro and the tzatziki sauce, but I actually kind of like it here. I think the, in particular, tomato really gives it some extra oomph. I might have been sleeping on the tomatoes on the gyros all my life. I'm pretty damn good, man. I think especially with that gyro, or especially with that tomato, like, that's fresh and that just gives it a nice extra oomph. Yeah, man. That's just really tasty and good. Again, I do think the highlight is really the tzatziki sauce in this one, because it tastes really fresh. I like the tanginess to it. But it also has something else to it, like kind of just an extra element that I've never had in a tzatziki sauce before. And it just livens up the sauce, and then by virtue of that, it livens up the whole eating experience. That's a good fucking gyro. I'm a big fan of that. But two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? I mean, yes and yes. Like, clearly, I think in both instances, for me personally, the closest thing I could compare it to immediately, again, would be Gyro's Express. Do I think it's better than Gyro's Express? Not quite. I think Gyro Express slightly edges them out. Again, I feel like their meat just has something a little extra to it. Kind of gives it just gives it something that, you know, for me personally, makes it almost a perfect gyro. But, now that said, again, Taste Greek Street Foods, that's just such a weird name. It does have that tzatziki sauce. That's like a signature thing for me. I don't know if they go over there and they highlight that element of what they do, but that for me, I've never had tzatziki sauce that tasted like that. I really like the way that it elevated the entire thing. So it is one of those things where it's like, yeah, if I'm putting Gyro Express here, I'm putting, you know, Taste Greek Street Food here, it's not a hugely different thing. Because what Greek street food, or Taste Greek, I'm just going to call it Taste, what they might lack slightly in some of the flavor of the meat, and again, slightly, they make up for with that tzatziki sauce. Like, that's just giving it something extra that I really like. So I would go over there and get it again. I'd probably go to Gyro's Express a little bit more often, but not by leaps and bounds. And that's saying a lot, because I really like Gyro's Express. If I'm recommending it, if you're in the area, and mind you, they're in kind of a weird area because they're like right off of the train tracks, but hey, you know, at least the one location I went to, there's another one too. I would say if you want yourself a tasty-ass gyro where you're getting some really nice elements to it, like everything about it tasted really good. Again, that tzatziki sauce, I really can't emphasize that enough. You know, plus you're getting fries with the combo and everything like that. They know what they're doing, man. And so I would absolutely go over there and recommend this place. I think that they're doing some really good stuff, putting out some really tasty food. You know, you might be able to find a spot that kind of caters to your personal preferences a little bit more, depending. But worst case scenario, you're still getting a really solid gyro. I don't know if it's quite as good as if I went to Greece, but, you know, maybe one day I'll go to Greece and I'll let you know. 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your year, folks. Go over there yourselves a truly gyro-tastic rest of your life, or gyro, however you want to pronounce it. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, what's your personal opinion on a gyro? Is it something you're a big fan of, something you could do without in your life? I don't think I've ever met anybody who doesn't like a gyro, but I'm sure they exist, you know, and of course you got like, you know, fine folks like vegetarians, vegans, what have you. But I'd be interested, you know, is it like a go-to thing for you? I mean, for me, as much as I love it, it could never be a go-to thing. I'd weigh 800 pounds. I'd be extremely happy, but I would be 800 pounds. I don't need that in my life. But yeah, if you have any fun gyro stories or anything like that, please feel free to comment.